Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy on this beautiful Saturday morning here in San Luis Obispo County. Or should I say, good morning. You're listening to Golf Talk Radio with Mike Brabennick. We have Mr. Billy Gibbs out today. We're probably going to be back together, I think, next weekend. And Mr. Dave Shamandl will be joining me shortly here. And Jim DeLobby was going to join us on the show, and he had an emergency come up last night, so he's not here. So you guys are stuck with me. I apologize. You're going to have to listen to me, or I guess you don't have to. You can change the dial if you want to. But we're glad you're tuning in. We got a lot of cool topics going on today here on Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. In case you guys have been out listening or enjoying your summer, the last part of your summer here, maybe you haven't been tuning into the show, but we've been gone the last 3 weeks doing various things and with our other jobs and hanging out with family and having milestones in our life and whatnot. But we're back today, and Billy and I will be back again next week live in the studio. But I am live here today. If you want to call the show, 805-595-3776 is the phone number here. You can always tweet us at Golf Talk Radio or at GTR M&B. That's GTR MANDB. And our Facebook login is you can check us out at Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy, ESPN Radio 1280, or Mike Brabennick or Billy Gibbs. And as we know, a lot of you guys like to interact over the social media nowadays instead of call. Phone number here is 805-595-3776. While I was gone, it was really interesting. Billy and I have had a chance to talk a couple times, even though we hadn't seen each other. We played 3 different shows during the last 3 weeks. And technology is really fascinating because you can be on a trip. I was in Lake Tahoe last weekend for my in-laws' 50th wedding anniversary, and it was phenomenal, absolutely amazing. And the Saturday that the show aired, right when the show was airing, I was out on Lake Tahoe, which was really early in the morning. We were enjoying a sunrise out there and on a boat. And I started getting texts from listeners commenting on the show that we were replaying, and it had to do with our morning BM segment, which is usually the first segment of the show, which is what I'm doing right now. And they were making comments about a show that we were replaying that had played about 3 weeks ago. And in the morning BM, we call it the BM because we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. And I happened to mention that on the way down, my car had some issues with the tire, air in the tire and whatnot. And I went to go get some air in the car, and it was 4 quarters. It was $1. And my I guess Seinfeldism, if you want to call it that, was who has $1 worth of quarters anymore on them?
I brought you some change.
Hey, Mike. Dave Shamandl's here. And so anyway, it was really, really funny because I was having people text and say, hey, did you know that when you're at a gas station, if you actually pay for the gas and you're filling up your car, apparently, okay, in the state of California,
by law, that's true.
By law, you are supposed to get free air and free water.
And a beer.
And I'm like, man, I'm all for that. But there's a form. There's an actual form for it. So one of the listeners sent me the form.
Air and water complaint form. This is great, Mike. I'll tell you what, though. Next time you need some air in your tires, come on by the place. I got a air compressor. I'll fill up your tires for you, and I'll only charge you 50 cents.
I mean, that to me was, I was blown away by that. This was actually sent by a couple people. Henry Hernandez, who's been a listener for a long time, he sent it to me, and I was just mentioning Dave before he got in. I actually got this email while I was on the lake at Lake Tahoe last Saturday because this particular topic was airing in the morning. So there is a full form. You can go to cdfa.ca.gov.dms for the Division of Measurement Standards to download a form to file a complaint. Now, in all fairness to the gas station I went to, I didn't fill up. I was in a hurry, and the tire light came on, and I was going to put air in there and the whole bit. But I thought this was hilarious.
That's still kind of chintzy, though.
Well, I mean, my whole take on the thing was I wasn't even arguing about paying for it. I was just
You just didn't
thinking,
have
like,
any quarters.
can you pay for it with a debit card, please? So, I had to go running back and forth on that particular day because obviously I had one quarter on me. So then I had to drive home, try to scrape a few more quarters out of the other car.
Did you look in the couch?
No, I'd already done that. I'd done that a couple weeks earlier when we lost one of the remotes to the TV. But it is funny. Technology is really pretty cool when you think about it. That we had a lot of people text us, and I know it wasn't just me; it was Billy. He had people texting him when he was doing his thing, going, "I think golf's a sport," and Billy's like, "What? I think golf's a sport." And he's like, "What are you talking about? Who are you?" And so, anyway, it's. I guess my point is, it's very cool that people are still listening. We appreciate you guys listening and for your support, and we do appreciate the fact that you listen, even if we're not live. So hopefully that means the show's somewhat entertaining. We hope. We've been doing this a long time. So, again, if you guys, for any reason, need air or water in your tires, air in your tires, water in your car, and you at a gas station and you pay for gas, it should be free.
Well, give me a
Something
call.
that I learned after 48 years on this planet I never knew. So,
I was listening to that. Excuse me. I was listening to that one, and I thought there was something like that. But I wasn't willing to stick my neck out and say I knew it for sure.
You weren't going to do that, huh?
Oh, Mike, I apologize for running a little bit late this morning.
That's okay.
Oh,
it's all right.
When I got off 101 and took the canyon across to get to, what was that, 227?
Yeah.
I only had 3 gray hairs in my mustache.
Oh, jeez.
But if you're listening out there, sir, the speed limit is in double digits going across that area. Holy cow. We got on, there was a concrete truck that pulled away from us and looked like a jet airliner flying away from us, and we're just plugging away.
Gosh.
So anyway, I apologize for being late. I'm here, and I did not break a law.
Hey, good for you, man. Good for you. So what's
going on?
Well, I had a whole thing laid out here on what we were going to do. We were supposed to have Jim DeLobby in the studio, and we were going to have a little.
Yeah, I noticed the chair's empty. What's up?
Yeah, he had some things come up. I guess his daughter's getting ready, or his daughter-in-law or something. Someone, not a daughter-in-law, daughter or a cousin's getting ready to get married, and so he had some things come up. So he was really pressured to do that. And he texted me last night. I said, "Don't worry about it. It's no big deal." So anyway, the morning BM, I was just touching again on the comments from listeners and stuff over the last 3 weeks were really, really cool. And then the other thing I was going to say is being up in Tahoe, I went on vacation, and a lot of people say, well, when you go on vacation, you take your sticks with you, right? And I'm like, no, not usually.
Yeah.
I just don't. I mean, part of it is I'm with my family, and my family doesn't golf. I mean, they do, but that's not their stick. That's not their thing, right? But I will tell you, man, going up to Lake Tahoe, I saw some
There's some pretty courses up there.
Beautiful golf courses up there. And
where'd you go? North Shore, South Shore?
We went South Shore.
Uh-huh.
And we were cruising around. I saw a few courses that I hadn't even seen before that I'm sure have been there forever, but I just haven't been up there for a long time. But one of the things that I thought would tie this whole thing together with the morning BM is, and tie it back to golf, is, there's always, when you play golf, there's always new things to try. There's always new things that you can test yourself with. And a lot of us get up to certain points in our life, whatever it is we're doing, and we kind of hit a wall. We hit, a wall where I'm not really sure I want to cross that line. I'm not comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm not comfortable taking that chance, or taking that risk. And I mean, it's fine, but at the same time, not doing those things. I mean, as long as you're not obviously going to risk your life or hurt somebody doing these things, in golf, practicing different shots, going out on the course, and then trying to execute those shots, I don't think is a bad thing, as long as you kind of practiced it and you've done it. And so a lot of today's show, as I laid it out here, Dave, is about expectations and equipment and different things like that I think a lot of golfers can benefit from. When we were up in Tahoe, my brother-in-law has a boat, big pontoon boat, so we went out on the lake probably 3 or 4 times. And the first day we were out on the lake, which was Saturday morning, we were out pretty early in the morning, and we got out there, and then we stopped and we moored the boat, and they take another boat in, and it takes you into the restaurant, so you can have breakfast and drinks. And,
How was the water? Pretty smooth, or?
That was awesome.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was great. And we got done having breakfast, had a drink, went back out. The pontoon boat, or the boat, takes us out to our pontoon boat. So then we're out, I don't know how far out we are, but he's got a depth meter on his boat. So, you can see where we're at. You can see the bottom. And so he's like, okay, who wants to jump in? And I'm like, whoa. Like, I'm thinking this is a little ways out here, right? And kind of like if you were to maybe, try to hit that driver over the ravine that's, you could hit drive 250, and this one you got to carry it 260, and
carry it 251.
you're kind of like, I think I'm going to try. Nah, I don't know if I want to try that. I don't want to lose my golf ball. Well, in this case, it was like, I don't know. Water might be cold. Do I really want to do it?
Cold.
And then I thought, I haven't been up in Lake Tahoe. I literally probably haven't been there for 15 years. My wife and I got married, and our anniversary was there, which, by the way, happy anniversary to my wife today, 22 years of marriage.
Oh, happy
So
anniversary,
I'm
Michael.
spending it with Dave Shamandel, and she's fine with that.
Oh, that is you. I feel bad for you.
No, it's all good. But back to the Lake Tahoe trip. So we're on this big pontoon boat. Matt stops the boat, says, "Who wants to dive off the boat and get some sand from the bottom?"
How deep was it?
Well,
Because that lake gets real deep.
yeah, he's
Real
telling
quick.
me, he goes, it's like 7-10 feet, something like that. And I'm
40
looking down,
feet.
and there's that factor of unknown, right? You can see it.
That water's real clear. You can
Yeah.
see a long ways down.
You
Yep.
can see it. You can see some of the rocks. You can see the sand. You can see how nice and blue the water is. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. And all of a sudden, my son, Noah, jumps on the edge of the boat, does a front flip into the water. But he gets in the water and shoots straight off to the back of the boat. Doesn't go and grab any sand, And so everybody's like, woo, great. Just like if you hit your long drive over that ravine and you were playing with your buddies and you'd never done it before, like there's a
Pull
great
that puppy off.
hold it off. Not going to do that again, right? So anyway, I sat there for a minute and I just said, you know what? Like I was saying right before I got sidetracked, I don't know if I'll ever be back on this lake again. I really don't know.
And you can't let your boy one up you.
No,
No, you can
absolutely
go
not. I
for
mean,
it.
I'm only 48 years old. I can pull this off. so
I see this one coming.
yeah, so I like, what the heck? I jump into the water, and guess what? The water's a lot warmer than I thought it was.
Oh, that's good.
And so I'm sitting there, and I'm going around, and I wasn't thinking about diving down to get the sand at that point. I'm thinking, you know what? One thing at a time here, right? I got myself in the water, and I figured it was probably about 9 to 10 feet deep. And I thought, I looked under the water real quick. It's clear. There's nothing around. What the heck? So I dived down, grabbed 2 hands full of sand, come out.
Oh, you did make it to
Did
the
it.
bottom.
Did it. Came
Good
back
for you.
up. And actually, I take that back. The first time was 1 handful of sand. So then as soon as Noah went and then I went, everybody else went. So it was that law of
You broke the ice.
averages of breaking the ice. Now I'm not going to say that, although I know I have seen this happen in golf. How many foursomes have you been in, Dave, where you're at that hole, there's a ravine, maybe it's 230 out, maybe it's 220 out. First guy hits it, he clears it. You had a different club in your hand,
I'm
different
snatching
shot,
out driver.
and you're like, I could do that. I'm going to get a driver.
Yep.
And then the next guy hits it over. The next guy hits it over, and you're like, I got this. And you get your driver up there, and you snap hook it out of bounds, and you're like, why didn't I stay with my same shot? But there's always the possibility that you are, and you will get over that ravine, and then all of a sudden you build that confidence, and next thing you know, every time you play that hole, that's the shot you're going for, unless, of course, the conditions don't warrant that. But in golf, there's a lot of that, and I think a lot of people are afraid to kind of test themselves with those shots, and they try to be too perfect, and they try to, again, if you're going to lose golf balls, it's one thing, but I guess my point with this whole story is just like I did at Tahoe. Every once in a while, push yourself a little bit, when you're on the golf course. It's okay.
Oh, I agree. I
know?
was always the opposite. I always went for it when I shouldn't have, but that's what makes.
I was going to say you're conservative, but you're saying you're just the opposite.
I think that's what makes the game fun.
That was going to
really
be my
do.
point. That was perfect. That's perfect because our trip was great, But the family talked about all of us jumping in the water.
Yeah.
That was like one of the highlights. And then the next day, we go over to it's kind of by Emerald Bay, and there's a couple really big rocks. Now, I didn't do this. There's a rock that's probably 60, 70 feet tall that people are jumping off. And they're jumping.
Big fun.
They're jumping in the water that drops to 1,600 feet.
Yeah.
And
Mike,
water's black.
You can swim in 1,600 foot of water just as well as you can swim in 6 foot of water.
But you
just got to stay on top.
That was where I reached my limit. Climbing up the back of that rock to jump off, I'm like,
the heights would get a little spooky though.
Yeah, and if you got up there and for some reason you weren't feeling good you couldn't get down. You literally had to jump off. But my son, kudos, and I'll round out the topic with this.
Did he go for it?
He threw on a life jacket. We couldn't get, you can't get up near the rocks. I mean, you've got to be probably 30, 40 yards away, maybe 50. And he goes, yeah, I want to do it. So he went and he got a life vest on, and man, he jumped into that water. That water's black. It's so deep, but it's a clear black.
Mm-hmm.
So he jumps in there. He swims to the shore, and there's another rock off to the side that's, maybe 35 feet tall.
That's still a big rock.
He climbed up there and he jumped off.
Good
and as
for
soon
him.
as he hit that water, he had the arms a flailing, and he was swimming to that boat right away. But he made it back.
Good for him.
I got off the boat by the ladder and floated around in the black water for a while. But I was like, I'm 40. I can't risk climbing those wet rocks. I would have fallen down the rock and broken my leg or something. So anyway, I kind of pushed myself a little bit.
Then.
But you're listening to Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy right here on ESPN Radio, and you guys stay with us. We're going to take our first break, and Dave Schmannel's in the house. Phone number here is 805-595-3776. When we come back, we're going to do some loose impediments. I've got a very special caller calling in at about 8:25 with a question I think you'll really like.
Oh, good.
And you guys, again, stay with us. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. Phone number here, 805-595-3776. Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy is brought to you by TaylorMade Golf. Check out the latest M1, M2 irons, hybrids, fairway woods, and also the new 790 irons. We'll be right back.
God, you talk fast.